What's up, good people? We're here at GitCon 2018. Super stoked to be here with Rick BEATO, who has an amazing channel.
Thank
Just
you.
gotta say, such a great, killer information there on everything from songwriting to music production to, I mean, you've got a long history, master's degree, I believe, right?
Yep.
And record production, songwriting. I mean, it's just like you're a wealth of knowledge. And I mean, it's blown me away. We did a little interview for your channel yesterday, and you asked me some of the most detailed questions about things like the tunings that Soundgarden used on various songs, or Chris Cornell throughout his solo career. And I'd never heard anybody that actually had that detailed of a knowledge about. I mean, I had to go back when I learned that material when I was playing with them, and I was really blown away with all the different things that they did with, you know, string gauges and tunings and things like that. Mm-hmm. You knew it all already. So it really knocked me out. So
yeah, I'm kind of a nerd in that way. Honestly, I'll tell you how I thought about that. You know what? One of the reasons I know that is that my kids, I did this benefit concert for about 2 or 3 years with a bunch of my friends. We had a grunge cover band that I played 1 gig a year.
Oh, cool!
And we played all, you know, Soundgarden, Alice in Chains, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, and we would, you know, we played these Soundgarden tunes, so I knew the tunings from that.
From back then. Wow. So
just from a couple of years ago.
But it's apparent to me that you have a real love for it too.
Love it.
Like, and on top of that, I mean, you've got a history of producing country, jazz, rock and roll. I mean, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So, what did you start out with? Music.
So I started on the cello when I was in 3rd grade or 2nd grade back in the 1969.
Okay.
And I switched to the bass in I don't know, probably 6th grade or so, and I went through and I got a degree in classical bass, my undergrad degree, and then I got a master's degree in jazz guitar at New England Conservatory in Boston. So and then I learned to play piano when I was in college, and so I pretty much played all instruments.
That's incredible, man. So what's the secret with? You've got a love of rock and roll and a love of, I mean, it sounds like you really appreciate punk and you really appreciate many genres, and yet masters in jazz guitar. Many times I have this stigma, and maybe that's my mistake, but I think that many times, you know, jazz players, they just go out into that zone, and they maybe don't appreciate the simplicity and the raw power of something like punk rock or something.
Yeah,
how did you keep that?
I love punk rock. I played in a punk rock band in high school when punk was happening, when after the Sex Pistols, and then I mean punk and new wave.
Okay.
I played in a band in high school called the Monroes, and we were a punk rock band, a 4-piece punk rock. I was the only guitar player.
Yeah.
And I loved, you know, rock music with Zeppelin, the Beatles, and Stones, all the stuff, you know, that we had talked about growing up. And I love I love the energy of it, and I love the energy of rock, and I love the language of jazz. I love the sound of the chromaticism and things like that. And my dad listened to jazz all the time when I was growing up, so. I got older brothers and sisters. I listened to rock music, I listened to jazz. My mom liked classical music, so I just liked it all.
You heard it all around the house.
Heard it all around the house.
That's cool. I've often wondered, because I cannot play jazz. Somebody said the other day on one of my YouTube videos, they said, is there anything you can't do, like a style you can't play, you know, like commenting, like, you can do everything. And I'm like, dude, I cannot play jazz guitar. So what's a simple, like, can I pass you the guitar for a minute?
Oh, no.
Like, no, it's anything you could, like, it could be the simplest thing conceptually as a rock player that's played rock for many years and stuff. How can I...
So jazz is about playing over different types of chord progressions than you would play over rock, and there's a lot of key changes. If you took a song like Stella by Starlight, okay, so that starts on an E half diminished chord. Okay, so this is E minor 7 flat 5. You probably played that chord. There's a scale that goes over that. There's a couple different scales. But this chord that comes after it, there's a different scale. It's called A alter dominant. Now, and then you go to C minor 11. And then you can go to F. So every chord has its own chord scale, or multiple chord scales.
doing this with the rock tone too. We got rock tone going.
Knowing what the you know. So, knowing kind of how to thread the needle with the chord changes is really what jazz is about. It's about creating melodies that outline the sound of the changes without, you shouldn't even need any accompaniment. If I play, you know. As I'm doing them.
Sure.
And things like chord melody. So that would be the chord melody of the rest of the song and everything, and then you go into playing it. And so, like for jazz guitar, there's so many cool things you have to learn. You learn how to walk bass lines.
To think like a bass player.
Right. Exactly. So
Talk about that for just 1 second.
What's that?
Like, are you approaching those chords basically from a half step below or above?
Yeah. So sometimes a whole step, and I can do it. So if I have an F7 chord, sometimes I'll if it's going for 2 bars. So there's a F, then there's the passing diminished chords. That's a first inversion F chord. There's a spread triad F 7th chord.
So this is interesting. Instead of like rock player might hammer away on the same voicing for 2 bars,
sure,
you're gonna play. Yes, it's an F, but you're gonna. Walk
but I could I could hammer on the same voicing also.
It's F the whole time.
It's F the whole time.
But you're just doing some passing tones and making.
Yeah. So if you're playing a blues in F or something. Doesn't have to be half steps, but yeah,
kind of approaching the chord from below or
below or above, or if you're doing, you can add in substitutions, things like that. It's challenging because there's a lot of because the chords change really fast.
Yeah.
You got to know your guitar, kind of where all those notes that change between chords are. That's really the key, because this.
Thing.
Yeah, you can tell that, right? You just hear it. I'm onto a new thing. I'm onto this chord.
So it's obviously having a knowledge of the progression that's going by, and you never stop thinking about it. You're always aware of the chord that you're playing over.
Yes.
And thinking about it the whole time.
And you're always thinking about where you're going. Okay. So when I'm going from F7, then I want to go to F minor, and I give you a little lead-in note.
target the minor third of the F.
Yeah,
or
minor
something,
third,
where you're
yeah.
gonna land on it. Maybe not the root all the time because
No.
that's a little normal, but you could do that. But
You could do that, yeah.
maybe you want to.
But if I'm doing it, if I'm on F7, but then, and I'm turning around to the B flat 7, and you always try to make the listener know where you are even without an accompaniment. So that's
great.
kind of.
That kind of bottles it all up, right?
Yeah,
there.
that's it. It's like
yeah.
it's just playing over changes where you can just take your guitar by itself, listen to it, and you should be able to analyze it.
So do you think it would be advisable to really learn arpeggios as well over the neck so you can
Yes.
visualize those kind of like...
Yes. So if you want like so if I take a song like this, so that's the arpeggio that goes with E minor 7 flat 5. Then you're on this A7. And then C minor 7.
You're visualizing.
Yeah. Doesn't matter where I am. F7.
Because I almost find that if you're going to learn one thing, maybe more over the scales, it's maybe more important to be able to visualize those real target chord tones.
Absolutely.
Right? Because I mean, you
Absolutely.
can approach from above or below any of them, but if you land on one of those notes, oh, now you've brought it home, right?
Yeah, and if
So
you're
it's like-
and if I'm thinking if I'm thinking like an E major add 9 chord or something, and I just stick to those 4 notes: E,
Okay.
F sharp, G, A, G, B. I put the 4th in there, but that's a good way, because the 9th in there too is a really important chord tone to have, because it's good for rock. That 9th is really a cool sound. You can get your chords like that. But yeah, knowing where those arpeggios are, I would practice that for hours.
Yeah, I had a teacher at MI that once said that he worked on nothing but playing arpeggios over changes, like strictly not even trying to solo or put any kind of phrasing into it. Just play the arpeggios over the changes for
Yeah.
like 3 months.
Yeah.
That's all he did for
Yeah.
practicing guitar. And then at that point he was visualizing, whatever it is. And I mean, how do you feel about the whole caged system thing?
I don't use it really.
But you're so far beyond that now anyway. But
Well, I just know I know where the notes are by sound on the guitar. That's
Okay.
the thing. So when I'm thinking of a chord, I know what it sounds like, and I know where the notes are.
Mm-hmm.
So
you've tied it all in already.
yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I've been doing it for so long that I don't even think about it. I look for sounds. I mean, I try to find unusual sounds if I'm thinking of if I were to play on this, like that is kind of a cool sound over that. That's would be like a
Diminished.
That's just a Lydian arpeggio. That's just a Lydian major arpeggio. It's got a cool sound, but it fits our chord, right? Instead
Is that the
playing-
Hendrix chord, basically? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that's
Yes.
just a dominant sharp 9.
Dominant sharp
you can
9.
play you can play blues scale, or you can play, which is kind of a
That's
cool
it.
sound, right?
Will you play it really slow for the listeners at home? Okay, so if you're gonna play Purple Haze next week at the Jam, learn that. Throw that stuff. I like it.
Right?
I'd be like, I'd get my drink from the bar and walk right to the front of the stage at that point and be like, I'm watching this guy. That's cool.
You just hear that, you're like, wait a minute, that's not how it goes.
Oh, that was great. I like it.